Hi guys, it's been a while, but welcome to this new tutorial number 9 on the GCICAP or the air-to-air dispatcher tutorial series. In this tutorial we're going to focus on the control air patrol function again, and we're going to discuss the efficiency of early warning and how control air patrols contribute to the EWR network efficiency. You may remember, as part of one of the earlier tutorial series, that the control air patrol flights are patrolling within a patrol zone, and the EWR network is commanding the control air patrols to start engaging certain intruders that need defense. There is an important parameter, that is the engage radius, which is a circle or a radius around each intruder area that has been detected by the EWR network. And control air patrols can be commanded when they are within that circle to be engaging those intruders. There are two kinds of engage types that can be commanded. Control air patrols that are patrolling can be commanded, but also GCI planes or defenders that did an interception can be commanded to re-engage an intruder that's when they are also within the range of the engage radius. So in that way GCI is minimized and control air patrols are utilized to the maximum extent. Now here's something new that has been added on the GCICAP capability, and it is control air patrols are also detecting targets. So control air patrols, while patrolling their zone, are using their radar detection capabilities to actually detect targets. And in this case they are detecting intruders, and in this case this control air patrol isn't. So in that sense the control air patrols and their radar detections become part of the early warning network. The autonomy, or let's call it the control air patrol planes that are patrolling, are reporting those detections towards the command center, and the command center will still dispatch the best plane that is a candidate to engage the intruders. And in this case the best plane to be engaging those intruders is not the patrolling aircraft, but is the returning aircraft that is more close to the intruders, and that plane will then engage. And this is really fancy, and I'm going to show you in a couple of examples how this is working. But before I do that, the defending planes can be the intruders here can be AI, but they can also be humans that are approaching the defense network. So let me jump to a mission that I've created to show you some concrete examples on how this is working. So in the Moose demonstration missions you can find a demonstration mission that is called CAP Independent Detection in EWR. When you open the Lua file here you get this script. And this script is basically like all the other scripts in the dispatcher demonstration. So what you have is a set group of EWR objects that can be included within the EWR network as a start. You set up a detection, in this case a detection areas that will group detected targets per 30,000 kilometers, and then that detection object is then passed to the dispatcher. And the air-to-air dispatcher variable or object here contains that dispatching logic. And then you can use the methods of the air-to-air dispatcher, like set up the tactical display, and then also here the air-to-air dispatcher can be used to set up the engage radius. Right? So this is the radius around intruders that will be drawn searching for any friendly that is nearby the intruder within a 90-kilometer range, and those will be commanded to engage when necessary. And then I set up a couple of control air patrols I set up a squadron here with 4 planes, right? CAP with 4 planes, excuse me. And they will be patrolling and taking off from Krasnodar-Paskovsky. Yeah, this is going to be Su-25-7s in the CAP zone west. And they have their patrolling speed set up and an interval with a maximum of 4 planes. And the takeoff of the CAP will be between 30 and 120 seconds on a random basis. And this one I'm going to delete because that's not really relevant anymore. So I'm going to save this a little bit. Oh yeah, no, before I go and continue, the default takeoff will be from the air, goes fast for the demonstration, and the landing near the airbase. And then I'm having some intruder simulation, so I'm setting up some AI that's dynamically spawned with the selection of a couple of templates that I've defined within my mission, and randomizing the route and spawn schedule, the frequency between 600 seconds. That's a bit too slow. I'm gonna make that a bit shorter, like 180 with a 50% variance. Right. So let me now re-import this script here, and then we can play. Dispatching, and that was number 40 here. Perfect. Let's fly. So I'm just running the mission. They're going to spawn from here. I'm going to speed up a bit the time. So time is going around 8 times faster times speed. Here's the first control air patrol and the second, right? And they start nicely patrolling the area, right? Go back to F10, and here's the enemy. I got 4 CAP in the air, that's the maximum that will be spawned. And now is interesting, I don't have any EWR network ground units installed or any AWACS, but the radars of the control air patrols are scanning for targets, and this one turned and he detected an enemy, and as a result the other ones will be commanded as well to engage the intruders. And there are 4 airplanes here in airborne, so you will see 3 CAP engaging. Now this one as well will be commanded to engage. Yeah, and this one will spawn then because they need 4 CAP. Right, so that one was now carefully eliminated. So now we got 3 CAP and the 4th is spawned, right? And the intruders have been automatically eliminated. And also important is the tactical overview. So we got here the patrolling notified. Again, there's a target area detected with 3 enemies, and there's 3 CAP engaging. So important to know is that if one of the control air patrols detect the area, then the area becomes part of the EWR network, and the dispatcher will order the closest by CAPs to start engaging the enemy. And this is really neat, right? So that's control air patrol. There are a couple of other parameters that I need to explain you that really contribute in the concept and also explains you the efficiency that you can tweak of your defense system, because there are a couple of things I need to explain further. So the first thing I need to explain you is you can increase the efficiency of your EWR network by not just letting your control air patrols detect targets, but also by getting an AWACS or an EWR ground unit placed somewhere within the battlefield that start detecting the intruders. And then your control air patrol units will much faster react to the upcoming intruders, because the radar of an AWACS or a or an EWR ground unit reaches much farther. And I'm going to show this to you. So I'm just picking up here a ground unit, air defense, right? Placing it somewhere here. That looks like a good spot. And I'm going to select excuse me, that's going to be Russia, air defense, and a 5J6. And that has a good detection radius, far away. And I just need to ensure that the name needs to be DFCCCP EWR, and that's coming from the filter prefixes of my detection group. And this name, so the name needs to start with this acronym here, which is a case. So I'm saving and I'm going to refly. I haven't modified any script. I'm just reflying. Alright, so now here's my EWR, which is scanning in the network. My CAP is spawning. Right. Here's my enemy. And you see very much quicker the CAP reacting towards the enemy. And the reason is that the EWR has a much further range, so your defense mechanism becomes much more efficient. Also note that only 2 CAP are engaging that target. The other 2 are staying and patrolling. This is also an interesting one. Now you see 2 new defenses, and the EWR will pick them up. This one here is being ordered to engage, I'm sure, in this one as well. So they were returning, right? But they're closest by, so they are ordered to start engaging those targets. Here we go. And then again. Let's see what happens. And then again, that one will engage, right? Now, if one of the caps become damaged, then that one will return to the base and will land, yeah? And then another patrolling aircraft will be commanded to engage. Now, we got these 2 here that are commanded. All right, so that demonstrates that an EWR unit or radar greatly increases the efficiency of your control air patrol process. The EWR network is also efficient against human players, and I'm going to show you an example where that is happening. So I have another mission here which is not using artificial intelligence units but human players. And I'm going to load up this mission. This is AID 41, CAP independent detection in EWR with clients. So let me open this one here as well. Here we are. So now we got another scenario. So we got a couple of Su-25Ts on the blue side that are just waiting as a client, right? So a player needs to jump in those, and they're named player south, north, east, and west. We've got a zone here, and you'll see control air patrols starting up from these 2 locations here. In total, around 4 you'll see flying around. So let me run this mission. So the first thing that I'm going to do is to let the control air patrols spawn into the air and that they start patrolling, and in total 4 control air patrols will be airborne. Now I'm going to show you that the closest, also for humans, of a control air patrol airplane that's the closest to the intruder will be selected to engage that target. So let me select one. Choose slot, back, blue. Let me take an airplane from the east. Yep. here I am, but I'm going to map mode and I'm just going to let it fly. And let me see what's happening. Which plane is going to engage? I think this one, in this case. No, this one. And the reason is the detection. Yeah. So that's something I need to explain. Sometimes the reaction of the control air patrols is a bit slow, and that's because of the frequency of the detections, but there are parameters as well that you can use to increase the efficiency of the detections. Let me take another one. Now I'm approaching from the north. So detections are happening. There's no EWR network, so they're really depending on their radars. And this one now is engaging in a correct manner. Okay, let me get from the south now. And this one is engaging, I think. Yeah, good. Now, one of the things that you saw is that the reaction sometimes of the CAP is a bit slow. And the reason is that when I go back to my script here, I haven't really set the frequency of the detection and the dispatcher. By default, the detection will detect every 30 seconds for targets, and the dispatcher will detect every 30 seconds as well to see if any tasks need to be dispatched. The detection object and the dispatcher object are working in parallel. That means that the dispatcher is using the detection results, but if the detection hasn't run, then the dispatcher doesn't know the new targets and will not dispatch anything. So what you need to do is, if you find the reactivity of your dispatcher object not fast enough, you have two methods here, and that's called set refresh time interval, this one, right? You can then specify in seconds a time interval that suits your needs better than 30, like 10 seconds, right? And here as well, in your detection, here, you can do detection, double point, set refresh time interval, and also 10 seconds. And now you see, when you refresh that mission, you'll see a much faster reactivity of the control air patrols, even with their own radars, because the detection is happening every 10 seconds now, instead of every 30 seconds. In the worst case, you could have a detection taking 29 seconds to happen, and then the dispatcher another 29 seconds to actually dispatch a task. So in total you could almost have a minute of delay, while having 10 seconds of time difference will really speed up the reactivity. And I'm just gonna speed up some time. I got this one. So now this one probably will already be engaged to the target. Yes, here we go. Right, that's done. Let me choose another one. And just remember that first the control air patrols need to detect the target before they are actually engaging. Now this one was attacking. So a much better reactivity. You could also, in this mission, also add an EWR radar or set up an AWACS airborne, and the efficiency of your EWR network will greatly increase. So I hope you found this interesting. You can find you can find these missions here that I've demonstrated to you in the Moose missions repository. You go to, that's important, you go to the release 2.2 pre and then dispatching, and then you'll find here those. Yeah, 41 will be added very soon. They're still on my local drive, but this is the idea. And then you can try out yourself these missions to see how this thing is working and how this thing is reacting. Important as well, I forgot to mention that is when you got a border somewhere, right, a border, and you want to prevent the enemy to start being engaged if they are, you know, beyond the border, or have not crossed the border, then the control air patrols will nicely keep patrolling and they will not engage the enemy. And this is the real power of the GCICAP. It supports Cold War scenarios, right? And that is demonstrated in the earlier tutorial sessions. So thank you very much for dialing in, and see you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.